Data table is a package that is mainly known for the speed of computation. An additional feature that it provides is it lets you set one or more keys on any given data table. After setting keys on a data table, filtering and merging operations become much more faster. In this video, we will see the concept of keys, how to set one, how to check one, and all the concepts related to working with keys on a data table. As always, let's use the empty cast dataset for this as well. So let's first understand, why do we even need to set keys? What is the benefit it brings? When you set keys on a data table, the data table gets sorted by that key column instantly in place. So you should always make sure that the order of rows in your data table doesn't matter so much when you are setting a key. And that is usually the case. Typically, the case where the order of the rows will matter is when the records are arranged in a chronological or a time series based fashion. In such case, you can set the key of the data table as the date or the timestamp itself. So what makes the operations much fast after setting the keys? The reason is the data table gets sorted, and that in turn enables the binary search algorithm to be performed, and that takes much lesser time to do filtering operations or even merging as well. So let's begin by setting a key on the empty cast data. There are two ways to set the key. When you are creating the data table, if you are passing the key argument as one of the columns that you want to set as the key, that column becomes the key for the data table. Now if you look at this data table is sorted according to the car name variable. Another alternative is, suppose if you are making the data table like this, now empty cars underscore dt need not be sorted according to car name. This is not sorted as per car name. So now if you set the key, the first argument is the data table itself, second argument is the key column. Now, even though there is nothing printed on the screen, if you look at the contents of emptycast dt, internally it is already sorted. Now, how to check for a key? Emptycast dt is there. If you check for the attributes, there is no specific clue as in whether a key is set for this data table or not. So the right way to check for key is using the key function itself. If there is a key, this will return the name of the column that is set as the key. Clearing the screen. Now if you want to do any filtering operation, you can directly pass the value on which you want to do the filtering. If you want to extract the Merck 230 car model from this dataset, you pass it directly. Data table understands that you want to extract that particular key. You don't even need to additionally state an argument, something like this. Instead of having to do this, you can directly pass the key name and it will give you the result. Now, this is instantaneous. Even if you are doing this syntax, this will also be instantaneous. The difference will be felt when your data frame has a large number of rows. Let's see an example of that. Here, I am creating a data frame where there are 100 million rows. It took a while to create this data table itself. This has 100 million rows. Now, if I want to select just the names Krishna and Stella from the names column, let's see how long it takes. So that took about 4 seconds. If you do the same thing after setting a key on this data table, let's first set the key. Setting the key took less than 1 second. Now I'm going to do the same logic of filtering Krishna and Stella from this. So that took just more than 1 second. So it's almost 4 times faster than what it would take if a key is not set. Now it is possible to set multiple keys to the data table itself. Now empty cars, I have set CYL and gear columns as keys. Now if you check for key, CYL and gear are keys, and if you look at the value itself, it should be sorted by number of cylinders and number of gears. Now how to filter based on numeric keys? Let's see some example. It works pretty much the same way as the keys were categorical or characters. Now that CYL and gear column is set as keys, if you pass the values respectively, the value in the first position inside the bracket will be taken as the value that you want to filter for CYL. The second position corresponds to the number of gears. So 8 cylinders and 3 gears are selected, and that is the result. Instead of using dot, you can use J as well. Now, if you want to filter more than one type of cylinder and more than one type of gear, you need to pass it like this. So both 8 and 6 cylinders is selected, 3 and 4 gears are selected. Now, to remove a key, just use set key and the name of the key argument will be null. If you do that, the key will be removed. It's removed. But if you look at the contents of empty cast dt, the original order of the data table will not be restored. Whatever state or the order of rows was there before the key was removed, the same order will be retained. Now let's see how to do setting the key as well as using a group by argument. Often, when you are doing a grouping operation using the by argument, you will also want to sort the data frame based on the by argument. This is pretty common. So I'm running only this part of the code. I'm excluding the ordering command. On running this, the output looks like this. It is already sorted by CYL. CY is already sorted by 4, 6 and 8. So this is fine. On running this whole statement, in case it is not sorted by CYL argument, this will get sorted by CYL. Now if you check the output, it was already sorted, but in case it was not, it will be sorted in this particular attempt. And by default, there is no specific key already set. Key is set as null. Now, it is possible to do a group by operation and set the key as the by argument at the same time. To do that, use the key by argument instead of by. Let's see how to do that. Change by as key by, running this. And if you check the output, it will be sorted by the key by argument for sure. In this case, it is already done. So this is not a great example, but if you check key of output, the key is set to CYL. This is often a nice command to use if you want the output to be sorted by the grouping argument automatically. It is such a nice, simple and elegant concept. So the next time, if you find any particular column in your data table to be an identifier for every row of that data table, then it is always better to set it as a key. Also, if you are going to be doing filtering or merging operations on certain columns in your data frame very often, in that case also you can set that column as a key and do your filtering operations, and you will save a lot of time and computation after doing that.